Thank you. I think we'll start now. My name is Janet Fisher-Hughes, and I head up Blueberry's quantitative practice. And I'd like to welcome you to our presentation, Will Your New Product Be a Success or Failure? The research we will be presenting represents an important collaboration between Blueberry, a U.S.-based marketing and sensory research firm, and the Smart Vision Company, a Netherlands-based management information consultancy. Here to tell you about that collaboration are Lisa McGurk and Gilbert Den Hertog. With more than 15 years of experience within the food and beverage industry, Lisa heads up Blueberry's food and beverage practice. She continually provides fresh thinking to help our clients develop new products. Lisa will be taking you through our case study today. In 2001, Gilbert Den Hertog founded the Smart Vision Company. Since its founding, TSVC and its proprietary CSI method have become the preferred choice for several renowned brands in identifying winning concepts and products. And Gilbert is presenting from his office in the Netherlands. So during the presentation, please feel free to post any questions you may have, and we will answer them at the end, or otherwise we'll be following up with you individually. So with that, I will hand this off to Lisa to kick things off.
Thank you, Janet. So to kick things off today, we're going to start with a fun exercise, and we have two poll questions that will come up on your screen. So we're going to launch the first question now, and if you can answer that question, then we'll have a second question that will come up right behind it. Okay, and it looks like we're about ready to launch our second question. So here's our second question. So now it looks like our polling is closed. So I thought we would ask those two questions to kick things off today. Have you ever done research that's won in the marketplace, and have you ever researched products that have never launched or were short-lived in the marketplace? And when we have the poll results, we'll share them. But that's why we're all here, right? To answer the age-old question, what does it take to launch a winning product? And so if we take a look at these here, I think we can agree that it's all of these things, really. It starts with an insight that's then translated into a differentiated concept that becomes a great product experience that then is packaged into beautiful packaging that commands shelf presence. And we all know if it were that simple, we probably wouldn't be participating in this webinar today, right? So why is it so difficult? And I think we can agree that it's difficult for a lot of reasons. We're all faced with smaller budgets, whether it's from a development perspective or from a marketing perspective. Timelines are increasingly shorter and shorter. In a lot of cases, fast is not fast enough. Innovation requires bigger capital investment. And sometimes breakthrough ideas can't really come to fruition because the capital required is beyond the limits of what an organization can support. And in the last few years, there's a lot of newer types of competition. We're seeing a lot of smaller niche brands come onto the scene and really cause a lot of disruption. And then, of course, channels. There are so many different places that products are being sold now. How can you translate one concept into multiple channels? So at Blueberry, we've seen our clients face numerous of these challenges every day. And we know this environment is not going to change. So we've challenged ourselves to see the problem differently. What we wanted to do was create a nimble tool that we felt would help our clients get the information they needed quicker and more cost effectively. And this is where our partnership with TSVC comes in. When we met Gilbert and his team, we were very intrigued about their CSI model. And Gilbert's going to walk you through that in detail next. But quickly, it's a very nimble forecasting tool that is based in today's marketplace that does not require a normative database. So in learning about this, at Blueberry, we were very intrigued and really wanted to figure out how we could work with Gilbert because we wanted to determine, was there a way to blend our sensory research capabilities with his model to create a better tool. So we can research as a proof of concept, and we had great results. And that's what we're going to share with you shortly. But first, I wanted to turn it over to Gilbert so that he can walk you through the CSI model.
Thank you, Lisa. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to explain you something about our CSI model. CSI stands for Consumer Satisfaction Insight. What makes our CSI model unique? At first, stringent criteria. A CSI model is 7 to 12 times more accurate than a purchase intention question. Secondly, the highly accurate volume forecast. As you can see, we deliver you reliable forecasts. A volume model using current competitive environment. We do not use a big database with all data to forecast volume. We use the competitive environment of today. All competitors are asked out in the research too. We have no black box. We deliver for each research a scenario planning tool in Excel. So when, for example, the weighted distribution percentage changes, what influence will that have on your volume at a certain price? You will be able to see this for a maximum of 4 retail prices. Custom diagnostics. If you want better or higher volume results, we can tell you which elements have the most influence on the volume and what should be changed. And a quick execution. We can do it in 4 to 5 weeks. If we look at our model output, then we start at 9 o'clock. We start with delivering a model output. This is a scenario planning tool. We deliver you penetration and volume estimates at a maximum of 4 retail prices. We give you insight in the individual marketing mix scores against the competitor products. We deliver you custom diagnostics and the optimal product range. We give you insight in specific action steps for growth. With that, we go back to the scenario planning tool and calculate with new penetration percentages and make new volume estimates. We provide this all more quickly and at a lower cost than our competitors. Before telling you the background of our CSI model, I have to tell you something about classical volume research. On this sheet, you see 5 questions with a simple yes/no answer option. Each question is linked to the 5 CSI aspects of the AIDA-S model: attention, interest, desire, action, and satisfaction. When we look at the individual questions, we see the following. The first question, attention, it's 4 times a yes. 4 respondents say yes. It's a 100% score. The second question about interest, 3 times a yes, 75% score. The third question about desire, only 2 times a yes, so a low score, 50%. The fourth question, action and trial, 100% score. And the fifth question, satisfaction, which means repeat percentage, 3 times a yes, means 75 score for purchase intention. This 75% score is the basis for most classical volume research models. But the CSI model is looking at individual scores per respondent, a vertical analysis based on individual algorithms. First respondent, he will buy 5 times a yes. The second respondent will definitely not buy, 3 times a no. This cannot be repaired, unfortunately. The third respondent, yes, 5 times a yes. And the fourth one, at this moment, a no. So 50% says yes on the CSI scores. The CSI we start calculating with this 50% instead of the 75% positive respondents on purchase intention. The CSI model is 7 to 12 times more accurate than a purchase intention question. Next to that, we look at respondent 4. Can we improve the concept in a way that this respondent will say yes to? CSI gives you the insight what to do to achieve this. What you see here is a CSI stairway. It's made for an individual flavor of a new concept. To explain the individual analysis per respondent for a flavor, we developed this stairway. How many respondents are positive? Score a yes after each AIDA step. At first we look at the total, which is 100%. everyone is positive because no one has seen the concept and no one has had the opportunity to taste it. Then the first aspect, product idea, comes up. Score 70%, so 30% fall out. Next step, assortment with 58% score. So respondents positive on product idea and assortment together is 58%. This analysis goes further from assortment to packaging to flavor and to concept power, the first red. This is the phase where all concept elements except price are shown to the respondent. The score of the concept power is 43% in this example. This means that already 57% of all respondents are fallen out. They will not consider to buy the new concept as it is now. 43% of the respondents are interested, but are they willing to pay the retail prices? We show them three prices, $3.39, $3.69 and $3.99. At $3.69, 33% of the respondents says yes. They will become trialists at this price. After this trial part of the research, the respondents will taste the real product, a specialty of our partner Blueberry. After tasting, 25% of the respondents still say yes. So we lost until now already 75% of all initial respondents. After tasting, we ask again if the product is worth $3.69. 21% say yes. Another 4% loss. These 21% will become baseline users. They will buy the product regularly. We make this CSI AIDA stairway analysis per individual flavor. If we look at this analysis, we see growth opportunities. And there are three phases in this process where we can obtain growth by improving the concept and the product. The first phase is concept. In this example, we lost 57% of the respondents in the concept phase. How can we get as many of these respondents interested? The second phase is price. Can you gain more positive respondents when the price changes? And is that interesting enough for the volume and the profit? The third phase is product. How many respondents can we gain by improving the profit? Which is a Blueberry research part. If we look at this stairway furthermore, and we compare it with a competitor, we see that these CSI scores are good or bad. To compare it with a competitor, we have a better reference. If we compare the concept power scores, we see a score of 43% against 60%, a minus of 17 points. If we compare the trial percentage scores, we see a score of 33% against 55%, a minus of 22%. So it grows. If we compare the product percentage scores, which is 25%, against 51%, we see a difference of minus 26% points. And at last, the repeat percentage scores, 21% against 48%, with a difference of minus 27 CSI points. So there are weaknesses identified for the concept, the retail price, and the product. And what will happen if we can repair that? So by comparing the dropout percentage at each CSI AIDA step, we see the three weaknesses. It's on product idea, assortment appeal, packaging, price, and product. In-depth growth opportunities in the concept phase, we see expectations of the flavor, quality expectations, and credibility could help growing the concept. And if we look at the product, we see that the competitor has a retention of 67%. For our flavors, it's our goal to reach this 67% as well. This could be done by improving the individual flavors. Here we use the penalty analysis of Blueberry and combine them with the CSI volume prediction. So what extra volume would bring, for example, improving tartness? We can calculate that. I will now give the word back to Lisa, who will show you a real business case.
Thank you, Gilbert, for walking us through the CSI. So now I'm going to take everyone through our case study. So as you can see, we got really excited about the model and how we can incorporate three expertise. So to start off, this is a blinded case study. So we'll demonstrate the data that we found. However, we've mapped the client brand and the category at our client's request. So this is in the context of a small dairy manufacturer that was developing a line extension and needed to determine a few things and have a few objectives. So first, they wanted to understand if they have an appealing concept. Did their idea generate appeal? Then they needed to determine did the product and concept fit. They also needed to understand from a formulary standpoint, did consumers like the taste and texture experience of the product? And then additionally, they had an original set of 6 flavor varieties, but they knew they would never be able to get slotting for all 6 at retail, so they wanted to be able to narrow that down to 3 to 4 viable options. Now, there have been many times at Blueberry where we've executed each of these separate objectives as separate research projects that oftentimes can span months. However, we were able to answer all of these questions for our client in one project that took about 5 to 6 weeks to complete. So we were able to be very cost effective and very nimble and answer the problem of how can we get things done quickly. So what did we do? So we conducted 2 simultaneous research models, one online and another in person. So the online concept test piece was conducted among 200 respondents, all moms, and then for the in-person piece of the research, we had mom and kid pairs. Kids were a key constituent for this category, to come into a central location to complete the same concept evaluations that the consumers completed online, but in person we added the product evaluation component. And that's one of the ways we're able to make this model very cost effective, is that we're able to separate out the two and minimize the cost for the central location part of the test. So Gilbert walked you through the IUTA stairway using a prior example, but I'm going to take you through what we found in this research. So again, by showing you the dropout percentage at each step, we're able to find the weaknesses for this product. So we see from the start, the product idea experiences about a 25% drop. And then when we look at that compared to the client product, their drop was only 25%. So we're kind of seeing initially at the concept level that maybe our client's concept isn't as well optimized as it could be. And then when we get to the assortment level, we see that our client's product drops 29% of people. And then when we get down to packaging, another 8%. And at the flavor variety level, we're down to negative 8%. And so then our concept power score is 32. And so at this level, we were able to identify that there are weaknesses for the concept itself. And then as we look at the pricing levels that we had in this research, we see that the product likely is not able to command a premium. So that was problematic. And I think the biggest news here is that when we look at the dropout percentage of the product itself, we're down to 54%. So that really signaled to us that we have a concept that has some challenges, but more importantly, we have a product that is challenged. So how are we going to correct that? And that's where our sensory research expertise really comes in and helps answer that question. So here's an example of the overall liking score for this research. And this shows you each of the varieties that were in the research as well as the competitive brand. And it really just gives you a quick glance how each of the varieties shaped up. So this is just representing some of the types of sensory data that we collected. In addition to this measure, we also collected key diagnostics on taste, texture, appearance measures, which all of those allowed us to better diagnose what was going on with the product. And then, as Gilbert mentioned, we were able to combine that with penalty analysis and help improve the forecast. So we'll get to that in a few slides. So just wanted to quickly show you the penalty analysis output for this research. And for those of you who, some of you may or may not be familiar with penalty analysis, so quickly, it's an analysis that assesses the negative effect of specific attributes not being considered just right. So here you see for the dark cherry variety, it's not very well optimized, and specifically when we look at the attribute of tartness, this product is considered too tart, and that really is a pretty strong penalty for this attribute. So later we'll show you how we were able to utilize the penalty analysis for each of the products in this research so that we could determine how the forecast could be improved should each of these attributes be optimized. So here's an example of the repeat baseline percentage. And at the end of the stairway, as I mentioned, we calculated the CSI repeat, and these are the baseline users who will buy on a regular basis. So in this overview, we see the repeat percentage price at 3 points. The highest price point usually gives the lowest repeat score, which is normal. It's important to compare the scores with the scores of the competitors. So we see that when we have the competitor brands in here as well. So in this example, we see serious differences with the competitor who has a lower price point. We're looking at $2.99 versus $3.69. So that gives us 27.4% compared to each of the other six flavor scores. And in each research engagement, we take 3 to 4 product lines with an average of 4 flavors in comparison. So we really try to have some robust data, and that's where the initial concept phase comes in. We're able to measure more competitive reference products in that initial concept phase, so we're able to have a little bit more data. So a good outcome of this research was that the respondents who said they were going to buy regularly would buy at a more than average volume. So that was good learning. So it's very interesting. It's important to attract as many respondents and consumers as possible in this case. And for each project that we do, we also deliver a scenario planning tool. And here we can input changes. You can see for yourself what the volume outcome will bring. So here what's important is that the action standards, there are action standards, and if they are met, then this research then gives the next answer to the questions in terms of what are the top 4 flavors. So I'm going to turn it back over to Gilbert to then walk you through how we look at the volume estimates for the growth opportunity.
Thank you, Lisa. An important question in this phase is what can we do to grow and become an even better competitor? We can see in our model how many respondents fall out on only one aspect. If we can repair this aspect, we can win these respondents and make them baseline users. To understand these steps, we do not deliver only quantitative info, but qualitative info too. So the tool is a qual-quant tool. For every project, we make a new volume model. And after this, I will show you a model check. If we look at growth opportunities based on improvements of the concept and the product, we bring together the penalty analysis of Blueberry and our volume growth opportunities. And if we look at the light gray part in the middle, we can see at the top the tropical berry taste. And we see that there's a possibility to grow on product with 40,000, almost 41,000 units. And this growth can be reached by changing the product 47% by changing the fruit flavor, the sweetness 24%, and the tartness 29%. So if you can change these parts of the product, then you can reach this volume. And you see for this first flavor, you see an index of 179, which means that it can grow with 79% by changing the product. And I already told you something about the model check, because the first question which comes up, of course, is how do we know if our predicted volume is reliable? We check the model by forecasting in competitive brand flavor. We know from Nielsen or IRI the market volume of that competitor. So the prediction from the volume model used should forecast this volume. When the forecast index is in between 95 and 105, the model is accepted. This means the model can be used to predict the volumes of the new concept flavors, because it's forecasting the reference product very good. In this certain example, the index was 97.6%. And to show you that this is not an accident, we show you an outcome of a recent Dutch study for cheese. You can see that the index is here very good too. It's 98.7. I will pass the word to Janet now.
Thank you, Gilbert. As you can see, this was a successful collaboration between the Blueberry and TVSC organizations, one that enabled us to provide clear guidance to a range of stakeholders within our client's organization, from their marketers to their product developers. We were able to tell our client how they could improve their concept and packaging. We identified the top flavor varieties and identified priorities for formulation improvement. And finally, we provided volume estimates based on various pricing scenarios and demonstrated how concept and product improvements would substantially increase that volume. The CSI model and Blueberry's product testing expertise were critical to the success of this project. The modeling was a straightforward process. Our client, in this case, provided IRI data for the yogurt category, which the TVSC team used as one of the inputs to the model. And once the model was complete, we sat down with our client to explain the model step by step. And we were able to combine the metrics from the CSI model with those from our product testing program to provide custom diagnostics, including volume estimates based on specific changes to the model formulation. And all this was done very quickly, 5 weeks from the beginning of recruiting to reporting. And with that, I will see if we have any questions. Well, it looks like there is no questions today. We would like to thank everyone for participating in our webinar. Please feel free, if you do have any follow-up questions you want to ask us offline, we're showing our contact information. And, of course, we very much look forward to hearing from you. And thank you again, and have a great day.